Very rare I start an interview here on the Rich Eisen Show by asking the guy who is here in studio to answer this question. John Beck, what is your title? Like, how do you wish to be referred to?
I was not prepared for that question. I don't know. Just a guy that likes helping quarterbacks.
Okay. For 3D QB, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like Happy Gilmore, where he's like, come try to beat the old long ball hitter guy.
We just landed on NFL quarterback coach, but you coach college quarterbacks too.
Our college guys is a big part of what we do, and for a lot of these guys, we've trained them through college, and now we have the opportunity to train them as they prepare to be an NFL player. And a lot of NFL vets, like Jaxson Dart, we've known him since he was a sophomore in high school.
All right, so I want to dive into that. But Brockman, you were offset. This is wild. Where are you going this week? I asked you, are you going to Green Bay? And you said what? Go ahead.
I'll be in Italy. I'll be in Rome on draft day. We're taking my oldest son, my wife, and I are going to head to Italy for like a week and then Paris for a few days.
Wow. Because the cake is baked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
This is my time of year to... Yeah,
I guess that trumps Joe Thomas going fishing, right?
Well,
that was my draft class. I remember when Joe did that. That was my draft year.
That was big for us because we had him for some, I don't know what the technology was like. We had him have like some sort of Cisco camera on his boat. So we got his reaction being drafted on NFL Network by doing that. But if you think about it, as soon as the draft's over, you're busy, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah.
Because the kids are
college guys.
Right, college kids. Yeah. And then the pros. So draft week is actually a calm period for you.
It is. It's actually the time where there's like a little dip. And you know what's funny, too? My anniversary is May 1st, so it lands kind of like...
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Bellissimo.
It's helpful professionally and for your relationship.
Yeah, it works out great.
That's so cool.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
This is the culmination for so many people, and for you, it's like the time to take a
we really like as soon as January hits and those guys finish their bowl games, or sometimes the guys don't play in the bowl games nowadays, they start training, and it is draft prep, and then we start having the NFL vets start trickling in because they're going to get ready for camp to start, and then it's like the draft is like this little drop off,
right?
And then when May hits, it's cranking again with all these college guys.
That's the voice of John Beck, quarterback coach for the 3D QB, just revealed to us on the Roku Channel TV stream segment. You're going to be in Italy with your family because it's a down period for somebody like yourself because the cake is already baked, and you're going to find out how the reception is in the Coliseum, right? Is that what you're going to be? Like you're going to be in the Roman Forum, like looking at like the draft list that's refreshing your phone?
Yep, be in the Roman area, like the Coliseum Forum, and Trevi Fountain.
That's hilarious.
All that stuff. Walking around on my phone, like checking to see what happens.
Oh my God, I just got drafted. All right, let's just jump into this. All I'm hearing is how down evaluators are on this quarterback draft class. You hear that, you think what?
Well, it's an interesting take because I know what last year's draft class was like.
Yes.
You have all those quarterbacks where it was guaranteed. If this guy doesn't go 5, this guy's going 7, and this guy's going 8. And it was like this huge thing where there are these chunk of teams at the top that are going to be taking quarterbacks. And that's not the feeling this year. That's not what I hear. I think most people assume and believe Cam's going to be the first guy off the board. But then once he goes off the board, everybody's saying, what now? What next? Does anybody really know what's going to happen? And I heard you talking before I came in about these possible trades back up into the first round.
Yes.
I think as you hit the teens, the latter end of the teens, and you start sitting at that pick right before Pittsburgh, like you said, what can start happening with trades back up? Because you got to think if somebody's sitting there, whether it's Jaxson Dart, Shadur Sanders, if somebody's sitting at 21 and Pittsburgh has a pick, you think they're going to take him. So that means if somebody's got to trade up, you either got to jump Pittsburgh or take a chance that Pittsburgh doesn't want the guy you want.
Unless you think the player's not worth it. You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing is the evaluation right now is I'd rather take someone else and roll the dice on later in the draft or next year.
Yeah.
And how can, that's what I'm wondering, like, can you walk me through the mind of an evaluator to conclude such a thing right before a draft?
Well, the tough part is about evaluating quarterbacks is everybody puts in so much time and effort and does their homework, but is it an exact science? Like, how many quarterbacks get taken high and it doesn't work out? And then there's the, well, why did it not work out? Was it the team? Was it the situation? Was it the offense? There's all these things. And then you look at guys that get picked later on in the draft and they go to spots and it works out for them. And someone says, oh, well, if we were to redraft, we would now draft that guy in the first round instead of the fourth round. Well, if there was really a science about it and guys knew exactly what they were doing, there wouldn't be that many of those situations. And so I think as they go into this, teams are going to say, like, we want first round pick. We want to feel really good. And I don't want to say safe, but like, we want to believe that there's a great chance this guy's going to work out. And this just popped in my head, but I was talking with the GM a while back and they said, look, if you know you got to take a first round quarterback because that's what your team needs, you don't worry about the slot. You don't worry if it's pick 12, pick 18, pick 24. If you got to take a first round quarterback, you take a first round quarterback. And so, that's where like then trading back up. I think some teams say, okay, maybe to get our guy, we have to trade back up, but is it worth it to us? Do we think that they can be that player that we want to have for 5 years? Because you don't want to take a first-round quarterback and not want to pick up that fifth-year option when you take him. Like, nobody's doing that. They're saying, let's take a chance, pick a guy that hopefully we can get for 5 years under that contract. Because in today's world, the best contract you can get is a rookie contract. Because if they succeed, man, it skyrockets.
No doubt. So let's talk about one of your guys that's got in many people's minds a first-round grade or could drop out of the first round, and that's Jaxson Dart. When did you first meet him?
Sophomore in high school. Yep, he was playing at Roy High School up in Utah and was playing baseball and football and was just a kid and his dad, Brandon, pursuing a dream. They would fly out to California all the time and just trying to get an offer. I mean, I remember days on the field talking to him, and he's just like trying to get that first college offer. And it's really cool to see now the story where, Jax could potentially be a first-round draft pick here in a few days.
Okay, so what do we not know about him that we should going into this draft, John Beck?
Well, I don't know what you guys know yet. That's the tough part. That's
all right. Good answer. Good answer to a somewhat vague question, but
I got to know what you guys know. I mean, here's the thing I do know. I do know there's a lot of teams that are very high on Jax, but they're, I think, playing that same thing of like, where do we take him? We'd love to have him. We love how competitive he is. We love what he did in the SEC. We love these first team all conference, team captain. Like, all these things speak volumes for what he accomplished and who he is. Okay, great. Now, where do we feel like is the spot to take him? Can we get him? Okay. That's the thing that I think most teams are trying to decide. I mean, evaluators, I've heard so many positive things about him. But
like what?
Some of the things I just said, so competitive, right? They love, coaches want to find out what his teammates feel about him. Like, when guys get opportunities to be interviewed at the draft, like let's say the combine. Let's say you have a few of the Ole Miss tight end, wide receiver, defensive players. They also know to ask, tell me what you think about Jaxson Dart. Tell me what the team thinks about Jaxson Dart. What's he like away from what we see? That happens all the time. And so I think for Jax, everybody knows the competitive nature, the fieriness, the injuries that he's played through. Like, coaches, that matters a lot. Like, hey, can this guy play through some injuries? Because we're going to need him to. If you're going to play 20-something games and take us to the Super Bowl, you can bet you're going to be dinged up and have to play in some games.
I'll ask it anyway. You don't have to answer it, but I'm mandated to ask which teams are interested in him, John.
I mean, a lot of the stuff's pretty correct. Like teams like the Giants are going to be interested. Teams like Pittsburgh's going to be interested. I think the interesting thing that I tell, like, even Jax's family, you don't know some teams that really like you that are purposefully not talking to you, that are purposefully kind of staying back a little bit. You don't know really how much they're in because they don't want everybody else to know. And it's that
perfect example is I remember Jay Cutler never heard from the Broncos.
Broncos, yep.
That's true.
Oh, 100%. 100%
They
true.
completely stayed away from him, and he was totally stunned that the Broncos took him.
Yeah. It's crazy how some years you can absolutely know. Like the year that I was training Justin Herbert.
Yes.
I mean, it was like San Diego back then, right? But it was like, man, the Chargers. Like, wait, it wasn't San Diego. They were already the Chargers up here, right? Like, man, the Chargers are a team, like, I think this is where he's going to land. And then there's other years where I have guys that it is just like, I mean, there's like 3 or 4 teams, and we really don't know, and we got to see how it plays out. I feel for these quarterbacks like Jax and Shadur and some of the guys right behind them. There's Kyle McCord, and there's Quinn Ewers, and there's Tyler Shuck. Like, man, we don't really know how that's going to all play out. This is going to be a really interesting first 3-4 rounds of this draft for all those guys.
I feel for them, too, because I know the the dream of having a short draft night, hugging the commissioner, holding the jersey, right?
Yeah.
That everybody dreams of that. Everybody dreams of those draft moments. And then back in the day when we first started NFL Network, cameras would just zoom right in on the players sitting in the green room. Yeah. I mean, just cut right away. If they're not drafted. Oh, they dropped another one. Let's take a look at somebody who's sitting there. Right? Exactly. Roger Goodell ended that tradition when oh God, why am I'm blanking on
Brady Quinn?
Brady Quinn.
Oh yeah, that was my draft class.
That was your draft class too. Brady dropped, and we kept showing him in the green room off the side of Radio City Music Hall. And Roger said, "You're coming in the commissioner's green room where there are no cameras. Sit there." He was done with it. And then now we're not allowed to pretty much show anybody in the green room because it gives away when they're on the phone.
Yeah,
it tips the pick.
Yeah,
that's deep. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is kids drop, and that means they have a better shot of landing with a team that's got a good coach, a great system, and maybe can sit a year and then get ready. Again, ask Lamar Jackson how long that first draft night was for himself and how many stacks he's got right now for a team that puts him in a quarterback catbird seat of being a Super Bowl contender every year right now.
Yeah, and a great franchise. I've been in that franchise. Like, Baltimore's a great franchise ran by great people. And you're right, like, the situation matters so much. It made me think also as, like, I left out Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Here's a team that is like, look at the situations that they've been through with the quarterback that they paid a ton for, thinking this is going to be our guy. And it hasn't really worked out that way. And you see them bring guys in and, okay, they're going to pick Travis Hunter. Everybody thinks that that's where he's going. Okay, what do you do next? Do you try to move back up? Do you go and you try to capitalize on what you think could be something that can really grab the city of Cleveland and go grab Shadur? And now you basically bring both of those guys that really, truly, 2 years ago when Deion first went to Colorado, college football was captivated by what Deion and those players were doing at Colorado. And I know that from a win-loss standpoint, that first year wasn't great for them. But like, people watched, people paid attention. It's going to be interesting to see what Cleveland does. But going back to also like the team situation, like, where you end up is everything. I tell all these quarterbacks, like, do not get so caught up in feeling like you have to be a first rounder. You got to be on stage. You got to have that. Really only lasts a brief moment. What really matters is what's going to go beyond that for the years that you're at that franchise. Can it really be a place that's going to help you succeed? Because we've seen tons and tons of quarterbacks where the situation has not helped them.
3D QB quarterback coach John Beck here on the Rich Eisen Show. Boy, by the way, great job with Jayden Daniels.
Well, that's our whole look. Jayden's a special player. Jayden's a special player.
Taught him all you know, right, John? Taught him all you know.
Listen, we have a team of coaches, but it's always more than just what we do at our field, right?
Sure.
Like, I love that guy's story though. Like, Arizona State comes in with tons of talent, shaky, leaves, that whole thing at the locker where his teammates are doing crap at his locker, like, get this guy out of here. Like,
don't forget him being pissed about being thrown in the mix with a whole bunch of prospects, Washington threw them all together, right? And supposedly he wanted no part of that.
I mean, look,
you get all this pre-draft stuff.
Yeah, like, here's the thing. Love Jayden, and he works his tail off, and it's really cool. I'm just like, our group 3D QB, there's a group of us coaches, and we are a slice to this pie, right? Like, there's so many things that go into it. But the cool part is our opportunity to see somebody work. When somebody's that talented, they work that hard, and not just on field, but the off the field stuff that he does to prepare himself to be a great player.
Like what? Give me something. Man.
I mean, right now it's the virtual reality, right? All of the hours that he logged in virtual reality. If you go talk to his offensive coordinator at LSU, the growth that he had, that just doesn't happen because you go throw footballs. It happens because of the intent, the purposeful things that you do in the meeting room, walkthroughs. What's your brain doing when you're not in the building? Like, the reality is, most quarterbacks are wired super competitively, and so when they're at a restaurant, you think that they're just living it up. I promise there are many times that plays run through their head.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, when they're walking in their house. I mean, I know stuff with Dak Prescott where, like, we've been finishing a training session, we're gonna go grab lunch, and he's in his front, like, kitchen area thinking through some of the things he was working on. Like, that's just the way a lot of these guys are wired. And so that's Jayden, right? Like, he had a drive to him that for 2 years we got to watch at LSU. And then it's amazing. Heisman Trophy, top pick, goes into his rookie year, and we're saying, all right, let's see how this goes. Like, we know AP over at the Redskins, Adam Peters, this is going to be really good. We know the offensive coordinator, this could be really good. And everybody went out and made plays. And that guy, I mean, you got him up there right now. His success happened also because of the people around him. Dan Quinn, the coach, I love Dan. Like, I got to spend some time around him in Dallas. Like, the way that the team functions offensively, the players around him. I mean, it's everybody in that building for that guy to be successful. And the cool part is it worked. It worked.
Yeah, and then they go ahead and you get Tunsil. And they get Debo.
Yeah, they're
adding
pieces.
To add on top of it.
Yeah, it makes it exciting. Now there's some expectations, though, right?
Sure.
Like, before, it's like, let's see how this goes. And now, all right, man, this is going to be a playoff run. And now the expectations come in. And now, okay, how does the players and how does the organization handle the next set of expectations?
Well, he comes across as real jittery and lack of confidence. You know what I mean? Like, he's so good. He was so good. He is so good. And I'm just trying to give our viewers and listeners an idea of how you can, I guess, translate it to a draft class in a draft week. Who's next? What do you when you see or evaluating for a player to be so good? You know, how do you evaluate that? How do you see that in a draft process and go, that's what we need to do? I'm an owner. I need to replicate that. How do you translate it?
Well, I think
to somebody else.
Yeah, I think one thing that's tough is you can't see a player and say, if I can find somebody just like that player, it will work in this situation. They're all so different and unique. Like, even the personalities of a player. That's why, like, I tell guys, hey, when you go to the combine and throw, okay, yeah, it's kind of important, but the reality is those coaches have watched all of your throws through the season.
Yes.
Those are way more important than what you throw at the combine. The biggest thing at the combine is your interaction with the teams that are interviewing you. Like, that's how they get to see who you are. And then, like, when teams have their private workouts, they take the guys out to dinner. Like, coaches fly in, GMs fly in. They want to really get to know that person. It's more than just the physical capabilities on the field. It's more than just like the ability to process. It's everything. And then also, how does that go into the mixture of the team that you're bringing them into? Like, I'm sorry, but there are not 32 winning situations in the NFL. There is not. And the people in the NFL know that. Coaches that have been other places, been successful, then been given jobs at another organization to try to build that place up, spent 3 to 4 years working their tail off, and then they get fired. They learn the lesson really quickly. There are not 32 winning situations. And the tricky part is teams, when they draft, are they fully aware? Like the question you asked me, John, tell us what we don't know about Jaxson Dart. Well, I need to know what you think I know or what you think you know. That's going to help. It's these teams as well. Do they really know who they are? Do they really know what they lack? You can't just bring in a great player and go, oh, wow, he's really good. We should start winning now. It's everything.
Well, I'm not going to ask you a team name here, but before we throw it a break, and then we'll get you one more segment. Do you, in 3D QB or others in your profession, like, again, you've got Dart, you've got Dylan Gabriel in this year's draft. Do you openly talk within your circle of teams that you don't want them to go to? I hope this team does not take this kid because of what you just said.
I mean,
yes or no?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I'm telling you, it's the truth, right? Like, and
love it.
It's not just you and your colleagues; it's everyone else. Like, they are walking around saying, "I hope my guy does not go there."
How can you not? If you've experienced the reality of what it is,
yes,
and you've also, I've lived it, I've coached people through it, I've seen it, I've communicated with coaches that are, if I were to answer that question and be like, oh no, I don't do that, that's like saying I didn't experience all those things. Like, if you've experienced the reality of the NFL, you know that is true. There are some situations. And look, I'm not saying the organization can't be one that you would want them to go to.
Look at Washington, by the way. Like 2 years ago,
good point.
If you got Jayden Hurts, I absolutely want him to go to Washington.
I know. Look,
you'd have never said that in a million years.
Those organizations are moving and growing and changing, and there are good times to be a part of it, and sometimes they're not.
Yes.
And that's just the reality of it, And sometimes there are some really good organizations. Like, I mentioned Baltimore.
Yeah.
I had the privilege to be a Raven. Like, that place, the building, Yeah, it's just one of those spots where you're just like, man, those guys do a lot of really, really good things. And you would say, I'd almost say regardless of position, I know so many people in that building, that is a good spot for you to grow and learn and develop. Yeah. But not all 32 are like that.
Not all 32. I love it. John Beck is here, and you've known JJ
He's a great
for
kid.
how?
Yeah, I got to. I got to get to know him at Michigan. We worked together for like a little over 2 years when he was at Michigan. Mm-hmm. So a lot of fun watching him on that national championship year. Got to go through the draft process with him, and I'm really excited for him up in Minnesota. I know the building loves him. I know he loves it being there, and he's coming off an injury. But if I know JJ, like he's got a super positive attitude. He's been working hard, and he's going to be pumped for this upcoming football season. The kid he just loves football, man. He's like. Jim Harbaugh said it best. He was like, John, this kid is like, football is the candy store for this kid. And when he comes into anything football, his eyes light up like a kid walking into a candy store. He just loves it. And it's so true. That's his aura, his personality. Just loves ball, loves competing. It's cool.
Yeah, he and Jim were like spirit animals in Michigan, like just watching them together. Obviously, I could not be more biased when it comes to all that.
I have a funny story that you will love. I'm training JJ, and Jim walks out, and he's like, asking me some questions about what we're working on. I'm kind of telling him about some footwork stuff, and Jim's like, grab me a ball.
This is Harbaugh?
Grab me a ball. And he jumped in and started like throwing balls. Like, well, I want to feel that. I want to okay, you're telling this. And he just threw a bunch of balls. Like he was right back in it. Just the comeback kid is back in it.
I love it. Captain Comeback.
Captain Comeback. That's what it was.
Captain Comeback. Yeah. I'm at the Rich Eisen Show desk, furnished by Granger with supplies and solutions for every industry. Granger has the right product for you. Call clickgranger.com or just stop by. John Beck is here, and we were just talking about JJ McCarthy. And you're talking about good spots, right? Obviously, Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, I love him.
He is the man. I was so impressed when I was around that team in London last year before they were taking on the Jets. You could see everybody was rowing in the same direction, and the positivity was off the charts. And he's so smart, and he knows what to do with quarterbacks. You're saying JJ McCarthy is ready, you think, this year? Because it sure looks like the Vikings are going to we're going with him.
They're going.
Right.
I mean, they wouldn't do that if they didn't believe it. I think the thing I love about Kevin is he's a quarterback guy. He's a quarterback person, coach. Like, he sees the game through that. Like, I really love to listen to what the coaches are telling quarterbacks, on the mic'd up stuff, or you can hear what the quarterback is saying or what the coach is saying. I love the way that quarterback people communicate to quarterbacks in game, on the sideline. That stuff matters a ton. The way that the quarterback is interpreting how the game is flowing, how his coach is seeing the game going, that stuff matters. And I think that's why Kevin's done a great job with his quarterbacks there. He did a great job with Sam last year. You hear the things that he's talking with Sam. I think if you're a quarterback person, and I'm not even talking just a player, even like an assistant coach, I would want to be in that building to watch what's going to take place over the next 2 to 3 years, because I think you're going to see some great development coming from a really good coach to a really talented young player. I think it's you hear about those Green Bay days where you have all those people on that staff with a young Brett Favre, and you look at where all those guys went and how they were successful in the things that they do. You can't tell me that Andy Reid doesn't have a part of what he does for Patrick Mahomes coming from what he learned in his time with Green Bay and Brett Favre, for sure. And I think you're going to see something similar to that with this Kevin and JJ there in Minnesota.
Oh, boy. You're talking music to the ears of Vikings fans there. In a couple minutes that we have left here, Rory McIlroy just completed his career Grand Slam with the Masters, right? Now we're just talking about sky could be the limit now that that's taken care of. Jalen Hurts is one of your guys. How do you think he's going to be now that he's got a ring and he's done it? And he has completed the mission once. What do you think he looks like having that now as a base of operations for him in Philadelphia?
Well, I can tell you this, because he was just on the field last week. When a guy shows up after winning the Super Bowl and he is focused on little details, I'm talking little details to enhance things by fractions of the second. When you take that approach after reaching the pinnacle, that's that and I don't want to say it too soon or anything like that, but I think when I think of the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, those type guys, that had to be their approach. Okay, I got to the summit. I want to do it again, but I'm not going to go as the same player. I'm going to try to do it again as even a better player. And that's the approach that I've seen him take this offseason.
What's an example of what the little things that he's worked on?
A little arm path thing to get the ball out just a titch sooner. You don't need it in all your throws, but if you can have that here or there, and that can be the difference in, and that may only be like 2 to 3 completions over a 2 to 3 game span. But what if those are on critical third downs in the fourth quarter? What if that's the difference maker? That's where I believe his mindset is at. And so it's cool, it's cool to see that. You would not know standing out on the field that the approach is any different from a season where you might have felt like, man, that didn't go like we want. We need to be pedal to the metal. We need to be doing everything we can. There's not a different approach now that he's won the Super Bowl. It's the same approach.
Well, I mean, and that tracks, right, with him.
Yeah.
And the things that he has said.
Yeah.
And the tush push didn't get banned yet, so they got that going for him. I mean, and Howie Roseman is set to have another week. That's pretty much what it is. That's one of those franchises you're talking about.
Yeah, they've been really, really good. And the one thing I kind of say, when you look at franchises, look at how many players they develop. How many guys are able to become what they hope they can become, or the team wants them to become. You see guys becoming. Well, how come in other franchises it seems like guys somehow don't become? Why does it not work out?
It's a great question, man. I mean, that is the ultimate secret sauce when you're talking about. John, thanks for coming on here, brother.
Yeah, it's good to be on. I can't believe it's draft week again,
I know.
like we said.
Let's do this more often. It just has to be a once-a-year thing. Thanks for coming, brother.
All right, sounds great.
That's John Beck right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Calais Campbell coming up next. But I've got 2 more minutes left here on the Roku Sports Channel. Real quick here. Again, I'm always going to be asking you about the secret sauce, and I know you're always going to answer me. It's different for everybody. But when you're talking Jayden Daniels, you're talking Jalen Hurts. Dak's another one. I understand Dak has not gotten the championship games level success, and thus there's criticism and what have you. But what is there about cool customers? How can you notice that somebody's sort of pulse gets slower when the intensity gets more? And I know some people might push back. Dak's not even in the level of Jalen Hurts, who has now had 2 monster Super Bowls. Jayden Daniels, monster performances in games where it's pressure for a supposed kid. What is it? What can you sense it? Is there a through line or any sort of similarities between players?
I think that there's probably a lot of things I could speak on, but in only 1 minute, a final minute, sure. I would probably say their approach to challenge. How do they approach challenges mentally? How do they view it? All of those guys love being challenged. They love the feeling of going after a challenge. And I don't want to say they're fearless, because I think they understand that if it doesn't work out, it's going to be hard. They hate to lose, but there's a steadiness to the approach of I enjoy the challenge and I'm going to approach it the right way. And then I'm going to just swing my best punch, and I believe in my best punch. I think they got that. At times, I think challenges can feel like a threat. Or if it doesn't work out, what does that mean to the whole story? I think these guys lean into really enjoying the fact of what the challenge feels like. I think they just gravitate towards something that feels like, oh, you might not think I can, or this might be really tough. I'm going after that.
Not to turn you into sports psychologist, but I get a sense that you do have that part of your job has a role in that regard. Can you teach that to somebody? Can you notice that the quarterback doesn't lean into it? Can you teach that mentality and have it stick and be successful?
Yeah, I do think you can enhance it. I think that through life experiences, some guys, you can say it's natural to them. If you go back into their story, there are things along the way that kind of shaped that. Okay, let's say somebody may not have all those things. Can they recognize it and then start to see it differently, and then through some training actually learn how to? Absolutely. Can that guarantee that they're going to be, so perfect at it? No, they can't guarantee that. But can you enhance it and learn it and improve upon it? Absolutely. That's why there is sports psychology.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.